Friday, March 13th, 2026. Welcome back to the Two Witnesses Live. I'm your host, Watchful. It's that time for your daily news update and Torment reports. Tonight, we have escalating terror threats at home and abroad. Major win for housing affordability. Fentanyl crackdowns. And some positive stories to lift us up right before we go into our Sabbath. Let's dive in. So, on the domestic terror and immigration failures, we've seen several shocking attacks lately by naturalized U.S. citizens, legal immigrants who turned violent. Reminder of Dan Bongino's motto, don't get dead. Also my favorite.
If someone ever tries to kill you, you try to kill them right back.
If somebody ever tries to kill you, you try to kill them right back. On a recent Ingram Angle segment, Laura Ingram and former FBI Director Dan Bongino broke down 4 incidents in just 2 weeks, all tied to radicalization and immigration loopholes. In Austin, Texas, Somali-born naturalized citizen in property of Allah shirt and Iranian flag opened fire, killed 3, and ended up wounding 14. In New York City, 2 U.S. citizens, sons of immigrants and ISIS sympathizers, threw IEDs at a crowd after Middle Eastern travel. In Norfolk, Virginia, Muhammad Hollow, naturalized from Sierra Leone, with prior ISIS support conviction, attacked an ROTC classroom at Old Dominion University, yelling Allahu Akbar. He ended up killing 1 person. In Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, a truck rammed into a synagogue. The driver was killed, and the FBI is currently probing ties into terrorism. Bongino warns that these aren't isolated. They're threats from open borders, 272 terror-related encounters under the prior administration. Online radicalization of teens, unvetted immigrants rejecting American values, possible Iranian sleeper cells, or even lone wolves. Bongino's fixes are stricter vetting and assimilation rules, mandatory denaturalization, and deportation for terror convictions. Sounds like a good idea. Life sentences or death penalty for material support to terror groups. I agree with that one. Investigate mosques and sites calling for America's destruction. That seems like just like a given. You know, if you got people saying death to America, death to Israel, maybe you should be looking into if they actually mean it. And encouraging those to do the same so that you don't have another situation like you did with OpenAI to where 12 people knew about a mass attack and did nothing. Anyway, the bottom line is without major policy changes, more attacks are coming. Security must come before open door policies. I'll include a link to Bongino's video if you want to see it in this video tonight when we go. Prayer in times of war. I've seen many prayers circulating, including what some call Elon's prayer. But remember that Psalms is the original prayer book for Jews during wartime, especially now with the Israeli-Iran conflicts. Psalm 83 really is key. It's a plea for protection against those conspiring to destroy Israel as a nation. Powerful words for these times. Let's see, the Middle East conflict, we got some updates there. There's a tragic loss. I don't know if you heard about this. A U.S. KC-135 refueling plane crashed in western Iraq, killing all 6 crew members. Military says it wasn't from hostile fire. A second plane damaged, but the second plane was damaged but landed safely, which adds to the rising U.S. casualties, unfortunately. President Trump issued strong warnings to Iran, saying there will be severe consequences for those deranged scumbags. Ongoing U.S. and Israeli strikes degrading Iran's capabilities. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, I should be able to say Khamenei. Moshtaba. Saying he's likely disfigured and wounded and in hiding. His statements are weak. Iran keeps hitting Gulf states and oil tankers. Oil prices spiking past $100 a barrel in spots. U.S. temporarily allowed some Russian oil purchases at sea to ease the supply. Rising concerns, Iranian-linked cyber attacks, sleeper cells, retaliation. The FBI has alerted California police. Possible drone attacks from off-coast vessels targeting unspecified spots. Also, on the California front, did you know that they have a special formula of oil by law and can't accept oil from refineries in the United States? They can only accept imported oil. So if you're in California, you may be suffering an unusually high increase to your gasoline as a result of the highly unintelligent policies in California. Meanwhile, alerts from, let's see, where else? So the possible drone attacks from off-coast vessels are targeting unspecified spots. There was alert from late February, no specifics on timing or target. Media calls it empty, but vigilance is needed. Iran hasn't hit the U.S. mainland yet, but killed at least 7 U.S. troops at bases in the Middle East. There is a major development in the U.S. military sending 2,500 Marines and an amphibious assault ship to the Middle East as reinforcements amid escalating strikes. There's a bipartisan housing win. Big news overnight. The U.S. Senate passed the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, 89-10. Largest housing legislation in over 30 years. The lead sponsors were Tim Scott, the Republican from South Carolina, and Elizabeth Warren, Democrat from Massachusetts. Rare cross-aisle team. My guess is that they're probably testing whether Trump will sign that before he'll sign the Save America Act so that they can use it against him. So I'm still kind of leery on if it's actually a win or not. All right, some goals: boost supply to cut costs, slash red tape, modernize programs, prioritize families over corporate investors. Key provisions from the bill is grants and incentives for construction, ease zoning and red flags, restrict big Wall Street firms from buying single-family homes, and expand affordable options and federal program. Now it heads to the House. Similar version passed there in February. Some GOP opposition to investor rules. Trump hasn't weighed in strongly. The fate of the bill is uncertain, but rare bipartisanship amid voter frustration on housing prices. Fentanyl busts. Positive step south of the border. Mexican authorities seized 270 kilograms of fentanyl, about 14 million lethal doses, in Colima state raids on a lab and warehouse. This is a major hit to cartels fueling U.S. crisis. Recent U.S. haul, Eastern Washington DEA record over 164 pounds of powdered fentanyl, plus meth, cash, guns. It's progress, but the fight continues. Let's see. Elon Musk and the XAI power plant. Irony alert here. Elon Musk says solar can power the nation with tiny land use, but his XAI data centers. Mississippi regulators just approved 41 natural gas turbines for a power plant in South Haven to feed nearby facilities. He always makes statements. You have to understand that there's always transitionary periods. People like to take the sum of a statement and try to apply it to, immediate circumstances. And that doesn't work for anything. Obviously we need power on the ground, but we also need power in the sky for the future. That's pretty much his point. Let's see. Environmental and civil rights group, including NAACP, opposed, citing emissions and harm to residents, but permit was granted. Meets legal requirements. Data centers nationwide turning to on-site gas as the grid can't keep up. Yeah. Rising anti-Semitism in Europe. There's a new group, Ashab al-Yamim, claimed responsibility for 3 attacks on Jewish sites this week. Monday, let's see, synagogue bombing in Liège, Belgium. Wednesday, there was an attack in Greece. Friday, arson on synagogue in Rotterdam, Netherlands. The group appeared out of nowhere, no telegram or social channels. It raises alarms about coordinated threats tied to broader conflicts. Let's see. What else is going on? Some positive stuff going on around the world. Croatia declares itself landmine free after decades, which is a huge win. Extinct species returns to England, adding biodiversity progress. Renewables are gaining momentum as stable energy alternative. There's an anniversary. Japan's Seiken undersea tunnel, the world's largest, opened in 1987, is still vital. Wildlife wins. Cheetah baby boom in India. Okay. Chile eliminates leprosy. Good for Chile. North Carolina, there's a 42% drop in fentanyl deaths in 2024. Cool. I'm curious to see what 2025 and 2026 are with the war on drugs. Bipartisan housing bill, potential relief for families. We read about that. Hero postal worker drove 52 miles in negative 11 degrees Fahrenheit to return a lost wallet. Wow. AI breakthrough, better mammogram detection of heart risks, which has been saving lives. And Jackie Robinson Park gets $30 million renovation for honoring history. Oregon protects Abiqua Falls as public land forever accessible. And that's pretty much it. That is our news update. Let's go to our daily Torment report.
Through trials faced, through testing days, you've kept my word, walked in my ways. Though strength was small, you held your ground. The door I've opened cannot be bound. They turned away, they closed their eyes, but I have written what none denies. Through fleeting fear and fleeting shame, you stood for truth, upheld my name.
All right. So looking in the chat here regarding, so August 12th, it's interesting. I recommend that you watch the Y-Files video on the zero gravity thing on August 12th. He basically proves that it is pretty much a scam. The zero gravity thing. It's another one of those internet things that got started. But what is interesting about that date is August 12, 2026 is the date that is on our timeline for the opening of seal number 6, which is the magnetic pole shifting. So, I mean, maybe somebody got prophecy about the magnetic pole shifting, and maybe it came in a vision of zero gravity. That could explain, being gathered together in the clouds. It's very interesting. It's such a weird coincidence. But after watching the Y-Files, he pretty much debunks the source of where it came from. So it's an interesting it's an interesting correlation of timing and events. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Is August 12th, 2026 is the day that is that seems to be the opening of seal number 6. Now that doesn't, based on what we've seen with seal number 5, I'm not expecting the magnetic pole shift to actually happen on that day, but that would be the indication that we are moving into seal number 6 and that the magnetic pole shift could happen at any time. It would be fantastic if it happened on that day. I imagine that the closer we get to it, there will be signs, because Scripture does talk about fear for the things that are coming on the whole earth. So the closer we get to that magnetic pole shift, there's going to be signs, there's going to be warnings, obviously, because people are going to they're going to be going into their underground bunkers and saying, the rocks fall on us for it's God's wrath. It's time for the wrath. So I'm expecting that probably for the next couple of months, the war is going to continue to escalate. The supply lines are going to get worse and worse, and it's going to be the worst thing that's ever happened. I imagine that many people will suffer as a result of it, and yeah, so there's a lot of things that we can talk about for what's going to happen. But August 12th is a very interesting day for that story to be landing on about like losing gravity for 7 seconds. Anyway, let's move on to Donald Trump here. 3 minutes ago, Iran had plans of taking over the entire Middle East and completely obliterating Israel. Just like Iran itself, those plans are now dead. He does not mince words. Oh, I gotta love it. Moments ago, at my direction, the United States Central Command executed one of the most powerful bombing raids in the history of the Middle East and totally obliterated every military target in Iran's crown jewel, Karg Island. Our weapons are the most powerful and sophisticated that the world has ever known. But for reasons of decency, I've chosen not to wipe out the oil infrastructure on the island. However, should Iran or anyone else do anything to interfere with the free and safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, I will immediately reconsider this decision. During my first term and currently, I rebuilt our military into the most lethal, powerful, and effective force by far anywhere in the world. Iran has no ability to defend anything that we want to attack. Man, this is really harsh. This is not the same president from 2020, 2016 to 2020. Not the same guy. There is nothing they can do about it. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, nor will it have the ability to threaten the United States of America, the Middle East, or for that matter, the world. Iran's military and all others involved with this terrorist regime would be wise to lay down their arms and save what's left of their country, which isn't much. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Whew, man, that is just laying it out there straight. There's an endorsement. It's not an endorsement. After meeting with Governor Gretchen Whitmer and hearing from our great Republican candidate for the United States Senate, Mike Rogers, I approved $100 million in public assistance to support recovery from the major ice storm that hit Michigan last year. Michigan is a state I love and won big, and it is my honor to help the wonderful people there. This is very important to Mike Rogers, who has my complete and total endorsement. It was an endorsement, turd, to be your next senator. He will never let you down, President Donald J. Trump. He's doing this on purpose. He's tricking us so that I will read these endorsements. That one cost him $100 million, though. Thank you to the highly respected American First Congress. Is this another endorsement? Yep. Endorsement right down there at the bottom. Let's see. That doesn't look like an endorsement. Maggot Hagerman, just another sleazebag writer for the failing New York Times, insists on writing false stories about me, even though she fully knows and understands that the exact opposite of anything she says is usually the truth. In any event, I'm thinking of adding Maggot and some of her associates into my Florida-based lawsuit against the Times, which very happily seems to be proceeding nicely. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. From Carlo Martin, Claudia Scheinbaum This is in a different language. I got the first part right. Translation. Claudia Scheinbaum admits that Donald Trump called her to offer to eradicate the cartels and that she rejected U.S. intervention. That's right. We said no, proudly no. And they say they're not a narco government.
Qué bueno que el presidente Trump dice públicamente.
Is that what this is? Same thing?
Qué bueno que el presidente.
Yeah. Two renderings of the new, highly improved Trump Kennedy Center. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Oh, I like it. News articles. I don't need to read those. What is this? This was from Dan Bongino, Truth, 3 days ago.
On the orders of the President of the United States, U.S. Central Command commences Operation Epic Fury.
I'm gonna shoot you right down.
This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces.
He reminded the world, as he has time and time again, being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you. We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their
Iran is run by lunatics, religious fanatic lunatics. They have an ambition to have nuclear weapons. They intend to develop those nuclear weapons behind a program of missiles and drones and terrorism that the world will not be able to touch them for fear of those things. This is the weakest they've ever been. Now is the time to go after them. The president made the decision to go after them, take away their missiles, take away their navy, take away their drones, take away their ability to make those things so that they can never have a nuclear weapon.
Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
Boom, boom, boom.
He is an entertainer, that's for sure. Let's see. We are totally destroying the terrorist regime of Iran, militarily, economically, and otherwise. Yet, if you read the failing New York Times, you would incorrectly think that we are not winning. Iran's navy is gone. Their air force is no longer. Missiles, drones, and everything else are being decimated, and their leaders have been wiped from the face of the earth. We have unparalleled firepower, unlimited ammunition, and plenty of time. Watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today. They've been killing innocent people all over the world for 47 years, and now I, as the 47th President of the United States of America, am killing them. What a great honor it is to do so. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This is such an Elijah moment. This is such a going after the prophets of Baal. I don't know. You might disagree, especially if you have Trump derangement syndrome. I imagine some people are furious that he speaks like this, but to me, this is like, prove your God is the God. Here's your opportunity. Meanwhile, Elijah is drenching the altar in water, and when he prays to God, God sweeps up everything, even the stones and the wood and the earth. That's such an Elijah moment, to where after that, Elijah turned on the 450 prophets of Baal and said, "Kill them all." That's very much an Elijah moment. Oy, oy, oy. Not that I endorse violence, YouTube. I endorse justice. All right, what is this? At military academy with my parents, Fred and Mary. Who's that? Donald J. Trump. He went to a military academy? At military academy with my parents, Fred and Mary. Whoa. Who knew? I had no idea he went to military academy. We must investigate. Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that. All right, and this looks like yesterday's posts. There you go. That's everything from Donald Trump. Let's move on to Elon. All right. Yeah, let's do a refresh because I don't know the last time I checked. Let's see. Failing to pass SAVE is an act of high treason against the people of America. Ooh, strong. Them's fighting words right there. That's a strong statement. Today's the day of strong statements. Good Lord. I mean, think about it. Like there are, it is the single most popular bill brought before the House and Senate, and they're refusing to vote on it. And they're impeding the progress. Yeah, it's high treason. You are not doing the will of the people. You are doing somebody else's will. Let's see. Devendra Chatplot. I'm joining SpaceX and XAI, working closely with Elon and team to build superintelligence. Together, SpaceX and XAI combine physical and digital intelligence under leadership who understands hardware at the deepest level. Very cool. Proofrock 3 launching off the monster. The monster tilts down, allowing the boring machine to mine directly into the parking lot ground without any pit, shaft, or excavation. It makes me wonder when I see the way they dig these tunnels, all construction really. Like, so you're digging blindly underneath. Like, how much archaeological treasures are being destroyed by this thing blindly digging tunnels? Like, are they like would you know if it dug through a pyramid or a burial ground or some, like a hidden treasure? Like, if you just started seeing gold coins show up in the waste. Kind of makes you wonder, huh? Weird thoughts. Let's see, from Eric Schmidt. What's this about?
The hope is that next week we will actually be on the Senate floor with the SAVE Act. I think that'd be, and by the way, spend some time on it. And I'm a supporter of this talking filibuster idea. I think that's what people think happens in Washington and the United States Senate. They think of Jimmy Stewart holding the floor. And the Senate, the old line is it operates by unanimous consent or exhaustion. And I think the Democrats should have to own this and earn it. If they want to block the idea that you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote, you have to show an ID to vote, that we're not going to allow mass mail-in balloting scams, we're not going to allow transgender surgery for minors, and we shouldn't allow boys in women's sports, men and women's sports, that's what this will do. And those are common sense proposals. They're 80-20 issues. They might be higher than that. And I think it's really important, most importantly, for protecting the election security and regaining the trust of the American people. The hope is that next week we will actually be on the Senate floor with the SAVE Act.
I hope so, because I honestly agree with Elon Musk that it's treason not to pass it. So, what's interesting is he's going in to other countries and taking out the evil villains. What about the ones domestically? Just saying. Of course, now I sound like I begin to sound like Democrats, like last year when they were quietly under their breath talking about how they were against Donald Trump. Geez, maybe I should be reevaluating. I mean, it's justice, right? I mean, like, we're in the end times. This is the great tribulation when Michael stands up and starts to eradicate the evil around us. So I'd say we're far more justified than the Democrats were. The Democrats were angry because Trump was impeding them, was exposing them. And that's really what the last 7, 8, 9 years have been doing, is exposing the corruption and the evil and the manipulation. So at what point are treasonous acts actually prosecuted? That's what I want to know. From the Babylon Bee. Gotta love Babylon Bee. Is this a video? To save time, CNN will now run retractions simultaneously with news stories. So they're going to make claims and then retract it. This story is not true. New York City mayor's mansion attacked by white supremacists. This story is not true. That's pretty good. it would not surprise me if they don't do that. I mean, like that could be pretty close to reality. Oh, good Lord. All right. What's JD got?
Here's the thing, though. Even if you take the Democrats at their word, even if illegal aliens voting is very rare, then why don't we ban it anyway?
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. It is one thing to say, I don't get it. The Democrats say, this never happens, or it happens only very rarely on the one hand, and on the other hand, we must not stop it. It doesn't make a damn bit of sense. We need to get all illegal aliens stopping from voting in our elections. It's very common sense stuff. Here's the thing, though. Even if you take the Democrats at their word, even if illegal aliens voting is very rare, then why don't we ban it anyway? It's not that complicated. It is one thing to say, I don't get
that
it.
repeated. Oops. All right. Let's see. XAI is about to fly. Common sense. Let's see. The simple test for immigrants is, would you enjoy working them? Would you enjoy working them? If so, they would be an asset to America. I think it's meant to say, and would you enjoy working with them? But I mean, he is a boss and he does have 150,000 employees. So I guess from him, it makes sense to, would you enjoy working them? I think of like enjoy working them, like, because when we go work a horse, it's like, you got to exercise a horse. Would you enjoy working them? No one thinks that all illegal immigrants are the same. On balance, legal immigrants are good for America, but there certainly are exceptions. And that's the thing, is nobody is saying that we don't want immigrants. We're clarifying we want legal immigrants. We want them to be vetted. We do not want murderers and rapists coming into our country, under the guise of, everybody's welcome. It's just like we have to protect our home. You don't allow strangers into your home without at least checking them out a little bit. It's all about cheating. That's the thing. This is a retarded thing. It's all about cheating.
Okay, important update on the Save America Act and the effort to get it passed. Look, I am guardedly optimistic. We've turned kind of a corner. Over the last few days, there's been some uncertainty about exactly what procedure we will be and will not be using. In the end, we've been working closely with Leader Thune and his staff, and they've been great to work with. What we're coming up with is something that I think is best described as a hybrid version of the talking filibuster. But look, let's not get mired down in nomenclature. What matters far more than what we call it is what we do with it. We're going to bring it to the floor. We're going to debate it for an extended period of time before filing cloture. And in my view, at least, I don't want to speak for anyone else, this bill needs to remain on the Senate floor before we file cloture on the bill for as long as it takes to get it done.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that Leader Thune and his office have been willing to work with us on this, and they appear open to a variation of that, is a good thing. So let's keep up the momentum. Let's encourage them to continue to do this. Let's put the bill on the floor. Let's make those who want to filibuster speak.
Yep.
And keep it on there as long as possible. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I agree. That's coming from Senator Mike Lee. Elon says this sounds promising. Probably since, he just made a post to his 300 million followers that not passing this is tantamount to treason. Starting to move the needle. Hopefully. 1903, Henry Ford's lawyer was advised not to buy stock in Ford. The horse is here to stay, he was told by a local bank president. He bought $5,000 worth of stock and sold it in 1919 for $12.5 million. Must be nice. Florida just passed a bill requiring proof of citizenship to vote. DeSantis will sign it, obviously. The left will call this voter suppression. Normal people call it making sure voters are actually citizens. Wild concept, apparently. Let's see. A powerful scene in the Odyssey happens when Odysseus finally returns to Ithaca after 20 years of war and wandering. You would expect the story to end with celebration, with the hero coming home, the family reunited, and the order restored. Why does everybody have no pants on? Homer, let's see, how long is this? Oh, that's not that long. We can read this. Homer does something far stranger. Odysseus arrives disguised as a beggar because Athena warns him that the palace has been taken over by more than 100 suitors who have been living there for years, eating his food, drinking his wine, and pressuring his wife Penelope to marry one of them. They believe Odysseus is dead, and in their minds, the kingdom is already theirs. Geez, this sounds a lot like Jesus. So the king of Ithaca walks through his own halls dressed in rags, while the men stealing his house sit comfortably at his tables. They mock him, throw scraps at him, and one of them even strikes him, and Odysseus takes it. That is the remarkable part, because the same man who blinded the Cyclops and survived 20 years of disasters now stands quietly while strangers insult him in his own home. Homer tells us his heart burns inside his chest and that he wants to attack them immediately, yet he restrains himself and waits. Instead of striking, Odysseus studies the room carefully. He counts the men, watches their habits, and quietly observes which servants remain loyal and which ones have betrayed him. The hero of the Odyssey does something most people cannot do, which is delay revenge until the moment is right. Eventually, Penelope announces a contest and brings out Odysseus's great bow, declaring that she will marry the man who can string it and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads lined up in a row. One by one, the suitors try and fail, because none of them can even bend the bow. Then the beggar asks for a turn. The suitors laugh at first, but the bow is eventually handed to him. Odysseus takes it in his hands and strings it effortlessly. Homer says the sound of the bowstring tightening rings through the halls like the note of a swallow. Then he places an arrow on the string and sends it cleanly through all 12 axe heads. In that moment, the beggar disappears. Odysseus turns the bow towards the suitors and reveals who he is. What follows is one of the most brutal scenes in Greek literature. The doors are sealed and the suitors realize too late that they are trapped inside the hall. Odysseus, his son Telemachus, and 2 loyal servants begin killing them one by one. There is no escape, no mercy, and no negotiations. The men who spent years consuming another man's house die inside of it. It is a violent ending, but Homer wants you to understand something important. The real danger to Odysseus was never just the monsters and storms on the long journey home. It was the possibility that someone else might take his place while he was gone. When Odysseus finally returns, he reminds everyone in Ithaca of a simple truth. A man's home is not truly his unless he is willing to fight for it. Wow. That is pretty powerful. Elon says yes. They're fighters. Elon and Donald Trump are fighters. That's for sure. It's the whole Make America Great Again movement. Let's see. Grok Imagine. Next order.
Now, here's the thing, though. Even if you take the Democrats at their word, even if illegal aliens voting is very rare, then why don't we ban it anyway? It's not that complicated. It is one thing to say, I don't get it. The Democrats say, this never happens, or it happens only very rarely on the one hand, and on the other hand, we must not stop it. It doesn't make a damn bit of sense. We need to get all illegal aliens stopping from voting in our elections. It's very common sense stuff.
Yeah. Not only is it common sense, everybody wants it. There's like 10 people who don't want to Save America Act, and they're the ones who are blocking it. Let's see. Peter Say Ong, PhD, woke Ninth Circuit decides Korean spas have to let biological men swing their gear in front of women and children. The dissent is pure gold. Oh, man. I don't know if I want to read this. The Ninth Circuit denied hearing on Bach Olympus Spa versus Armstrong. Judge Van Dyke wrote the lead dissent, which begins this way. This is a case about swing. Okay. We're gonna have to mark the rating on this show tonight. It's rated R. See if I can read this without laughing. This is a case about swinging dicks. The Christian owners of Olympus Spa A traditional Korean, woman-only nude spa understandably don't want them in their spas. Their female employees and female clients don't want them in their spa either. But Washington State insists on them. And now, so does the Ninth Circuit. You may think that swinging dicks shouldn't appear in a judicial opinion. You're not wrong. But as much as you might understandably be shocked and displeased to merely encounter that phrase in this opinion, I hope we can all agree that this is far more jarring for the unsuspecting and exposed women at Olympus Spa. Some, as young as 13, to be visually assaulted by the real thing. Sometimes it feels like the supposed adults in the room have collectively lost their mind. Woke regulators and complicit judges seem entirely willing, even eager, to ignore the consequences that their Frankenstein social experiments impose on real women and young girls. All right, that wasn't as funny as I thought, but it was pretty good. Let's see. Either society punishes criminals or criminals punish society. Indeed. The SAVE Act is a fork-in-the-road moment for Western civilization. True. This is from yesterday, but he reposted today. I don't know if we're going to listen to the whole thing.
Mr. President, later today, we will finish up the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, the latest piece of legislation in Republicans' affordability agenda. And next week, I will be bringing the Save America Act to the floor, and we'll be having a full and robust debate. So, Mr. President, what is the Save America Act? It is a package of common sense policies, the kind of common sense policies that should get an automatic yes vote from literally every member of this body. At the core of the Save America Act is the requirement that individuals provide proof of citizenship to register to vote and then show an ID when they go to the polls. In other words, it would require Americans to demonstrate that they're eligible to vote and that they are who they say they are when they go to do so. Not to keep using the word common sense, but it's pretty common sense, right? We require photo ID for a whole lot of things in this country for obvious reasons. Getting on a plane, show your official government-issued photo ID. Go to the doctor.
Yeah, I get it. That's what's the end point.
And that they are who they say they are when they go to the polls.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. President, I'll have a lot more to say about
Isn't he the
Save
speaker?
America Act next
Isn't he
week,
the one
including
responsible for bringing it
two
to
other
the
common
floor?
sense measures in the bill that would prevent biological males from competing in women's sports and protect minors from gender transition procedures. Two other things I should note that are supported by the American people. Mr. President, I can't guarantee an outcome on this legislation, but I can guarantee that we are going to put Democrats on the record.
Yeah, good.
That they will be forced to defend their outrageous positions on these issues.
Got tired of being called a traitor.
Why common sense and the Democratic Party have parted ways. Mr. President, Republicans are looking forward to this debate.
You think?
I look forward to saying much more about the Save America Act in the very near future.
Sweet. Oh, Trump just made it simple. Pass the SAVE Act or nothing gets signed. Yup. I think this is why they passed that Housing Act.
It's a very basic thing. It's called Save America, actually, and that's what it is. It's having to do with voting and voter ID. We want voter ID. We want proof of citizenship. We added a couple, no men playing in women's sports. We don't want that. Nobody does. I think it's about a 98% issue. We want no transgender mutilation of our children.
Hear, hear.
Very basic things that you wouldn't even think we'd be talking about 15 or 20 years ago. But for the voting aspect of it is we want voter ID, very important. You have to have identification and you have to have proof of citizenship. We don't want mail-in ballots. We don't want to have ballots coming from all different corners of the world. We want to have it accurate, and you can't do that with mail-in ballots. Actually, Jimmy Carter headed a commission years ago. He said mail-in ballots no good. We're the only country in the world that's doing mail-in ballots. And that would exclude, though, our military or people that are ill, people that are away. So we're generous in that way, but people don't want mail-in ballots because you have crooked elections. It guarantees a crooked election.
Oh, I thought he was going to say he wasn't going to sign anything at all until they passed that. Oh well, you get the point. We get the point. You want to know how we know that Thune is a major problem? The media never attacks him. Exactly. Legacy media is a propaganda arm of the far left. Indeed. Failing to pass the SAVE Act is an act of treason against the people of America. See, this is the thing with Elon Musk, man, it's him and Donald Trump. This is why people lump them together. It's these two men are tormenting the world. And Elon Musk, he's a softer power. You know, Donald Trump is far more outspoken, far more blunt. Elon is much more reserved, and he's more like Odysseus, who will sit back and read the room, take note of his enemies. But man, when he speaks, like this is a pretty big deal against Speaker Thune. It wouldn't surprise me if this isn't the reason he's bringing it to the floor next week. Yeah. Senator John Thune seems absolutely determined to hand control of the House and Senate to the Democrats in 2026. I really do not understand how these people think. They're evil. They don't think. The Senate must enact the will of the people. Reminder, Americans support voter ID regardless of race. Black, white, and Latino. Yep. Yeah, we can watch that.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to.
There you go. Mail-in ballots are a fraud vector, not even close to safe. Mail-in ballots, the 6 presidential elections. Let's see, mail-in ballots, the 6, so wow, 15 to up to 49. Anything stand out to you? Oh, look at 2020. Interesting. They went all out in 2020. Let's see. McCarthy did not go far enough, and there is data to back that up. Extremism among university faculty. Oh, yeah, we've seen this before. Let's see. Republican destroy the Democrat Party with voter integrity. Democrats destroy America with voter fraud. John Thune. It's amazing how much you can get done with memes and tweets. Could you imagine if the Book of Revelation said that the 2 witnesses would be posting mean tweets instead of fire? Nobody would have known what it means. Like, what's a mean tweet? If only Scripture were that clear, if only prophecy actually spoke in terms of the language of the day rather than in the language of their day way back then, it would make understanding prophecy so much simpler. I guess it needs to be hidden. Otherwise, it begs the question on, would it still happen the same way if it was as clear? You know, if people knew how things would play out, would they still play out the same? Only those who are especially watchful, for all intents and purposes, are the ones who really see what's going on. The ones who can see the same ones who can understand a parable and the spiritual truths in the parable, that those who hear the parable and think of it literally and are confused. Seeing, they do not see. What is this about?
Most of us feel discomfort when we think about pedophiles. But just like pedophiles, we are not responsible for our feelings.
Excuse me?
We do not choose them.
Yes, we do.
But we are responsible for our actions. And we must make a decision. It is our responsibility.
So you're telling me, so here's the thing about feelings, is feelings tend to come in conjunction with where you are. If you're an alcoholic and you are in a bar, you are far more likely to feel like drinking than if you completely avoid the bar altogether. That's called responsibility. You are responsible for your feelings. Stay the F away from the things that make you feel stuff you shouldn't feel.
To reflect and to overcome our negative feelings.
It's this sweet talk that's so freaking deceptive, and they do it in church too, where they're like, oh, if we can all just get along and be evil together. Yeah.
About pedophiles, and to treat them with the same respect we treat
Nope.
other people with.
No.
We should accept
Hard
that
no.
pedophiles are people who have not chosen their sexuality
Hard no.
and who, unlike most of us, will never be able to live it out freely if they want to lead an upright life. We should accept that pedophilia is a sexual preference. Most of us.
Yeah, oh, hell no, lady. Oh, hell no. No, thank you. Hard no. Hard pass. Yeah, I'm not opposed to the death penalty for pedophiles.
Discomfort when we think.
You know, those who haven't acted, it's one thing, but anyone who's harmed a child, woe to that person. I take Jesus aside in that one. Woe to anybody who would harm the innocent children. Perversion is reaching new lows. Yeah, indeed. Do not normalize that kind of thinking or behavior. That is evil of the deepest evil. Harming children.
You don't regret that people might have lost important income to support their lives?
No. I think it was more important to reduce the federal deficit from $2 trillion to close to zero.
Did you reduce the federal deficit?
No, we didn't.
This is a history of the HIV/AIDS prison movement and its legacies in the United States. My book project narrates how activists fought the convergence of HIV/AIDS and incarceration from inside and outside prisons across the Reagan through Clinton years, and argues that this organizing holds legacies in the prison abolition movement of the 1990s to today. This is one of the grants that you or Mr. Fox identified as craziest at NEH, is that right?
That's right.
Why did you identify this as one of the craziest grants?
Because it references feminist and queer insights into prison abolition and LGBTQ studies.
Any other reasons?
No.
Examining military service from the margins, the complicated service discussion series will bring together veterans and community members to examine the experiences of service members who identify themselves as female, Black, Native American, LGBTQ, or an immigrant, the dynamics, reasoning, and strength behind serving a country that does not always serve you in return. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
You and Mr. Fox identified this as one of the craziest grants at NEH?
Yes, it appears so.
Why did you do that?
Because it explicitly says LGBTQ.
Do you have any history in, like, let's say,
what is this?
Scholarly peer review?
No.
Did he write a paper? It feels like he's on trial.
Okay. So, but this judgment call was made by you and your personal judgment combined with Justin's personal judgment to cancel grants based on DEI.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it's inappropriate in any way that someone in their 20s with no experience with grants or federal government was making personal judgment calls about what grants to cancel?
Actually, no, I don't think it's inappropriate.
Okay. Why not?
Objection. I think a person can have enough judgment from reading books and being well informed outside of traditional experience to make judgment calls about obvious things like
fair enough.
A grant that literally lists DEI in its description to know whether it violates an executive order.
I'm sorry. I'm saying books because you said books. What books would you have read that would have informed your opinion on what grants to cancel based on DEI or not?
There were no books.
What is this? I'm curious. Any other reasons? No. Legendary base. Another Doge bro explains. Wait. Another Doge bro explains how he flagged DEI grants for termination. Is that Big Balls? I think that's Big Balls. I don't know. I don't really recognize his face, but That is based. Doge Bros. Right on. Good for him. Flagging DEI grants that should be canceled. I get it. I like it. Keep on doing what you're doing. Let's see. Are we done? Is this... Nope, we're not done. Let's see. What is this? Thune called everyone flooding his office a paid influencer. Tuesday, Elon posted his number to 200. He's got way more than 200 million people. Today, Thune hit the Senate floor calling for Dems, Jim Crow 2.0. Deeply irresponsible and insult to those who actually live through. Yeah. Yeah, we get the point. All right, enough about the SAVAC stuff. That's what it is. He told police he was in the female toilets because he wasn't sure about his gender. It's literally to get out of, it's literally the get out of jail free card for sexual predator men. That's exactly what it is. Well, that's a fun effect. All right, another day, another horror story from Open Border Nightmare. This Afghan migrant grabs a teenage girl off the street and rapes her just 1 week after assaulting a woman in her 20s. And guess what? He's still in the UK because spineless politicians prioritize invaders. Indeed. I didn't realize Grok Imagine was this God holy. And it's getting better. I don't understand how politicians can so bluntly reject the will of the people. Stealing their votes. Yeah. They are traitors to the people. Agreed. I cannot disagree with that. All right. I think we are... Lego version of Elon Musk entering Twitter headquarters in 2022. Cute. Let's see. We're all the same. Then why do we need diversity? All right. I think we're actually done with Elon's threads. And we need to call it early tonight because it's the Sabbath. And I've got not only just a daddy-daughter date, but a whole family date tonight. So we are going to end here. But before we go, let's look at some scripture. Let's go down here. And, the mission statement for this channel, it's not only to find and echo the prophecy of the two witnesses. It's to observe and pay attention to where we are in the timeline of God's events, because we're living under a curse. We're born dead in trespasses and sins. This is not the life that God intended. He intended so much more for us, and it is his son. He sent his son so that we can have that life that he intends for us. And this is what his son said. He said in John 14:29, "And now I have told you before it comes, that when it does come to pass, you may believe." That's really the mission statement for the Two Witnesses Live, is to watch these things come to pass and help those who don't believe to believe. That's our mission statement, to help those see this stuff come to pass so they may believe. And that's exactly what's happening. This was written about. These days were written about 2,000 years ago. And we're watching them come to pass. The book of Revelation was given to Jesus from his Father. His Father gave him the information. He gave him the knowledge about what was going to happen before he returned. He also sent his angel and signified it to John, who wrote it down, so that we would actually have this information so that we could watch it happen in real time. That's our generation. That's you and me. We are the ones who God knew would be here during this day and age. We are the ones who have been entrusted with this time and with this information. This is such an amazing opportunity, a massive privilege, and I would even say a reward for us specifically, for being here and for watching these things come to pass, because we indeed are helping those who maybe didn't believe before to believe. And that goes for everyone, even the Jews. Those who are looking for the Messiah, it's no coincidence that they're looking for the Messiah at the same time we're looking for his return. So surely there's going to be a point where they realize that Yeshua is the Messiah that they've been waiting for. And that's our objective. That's what it is that we are here to do, is to help bring that to people's attention, to help show them that Jesus is coming. I mean, we see the signs, so many signs that were written about long time ago. You can't guess this stuff. You can't make this up. And it's just such a wonderful privilege to be here during this day and age, to be able to do this and to hopefully reach people who might otherwise not believe. You know, there are those who need to see things to believe, unfortunately. And we're seeing things come to pass, and the whole world is coming together and realizing maybe there's something to this Bible stuff, because they're seeing all of these events that were written about long ago happen. And they may not have the details, they may not have the specifics, but everyone gets that sense. Wow, this seems familiar. And here we are. So it's such an amazing day to be alive. I'm so thankful to our Father in heaven for everything that he's done, and I can't wait, just like you guys, for his son to return so that we can have our final redemption. And with that, God bless you guys. Shabbat shalom. Have an amazing Sabbath. God bless you guys.